how much you have to pay for it, I don't know. But that would have to go in the budget. And then I would assume training and nursing staff along with physical therapy, so, you know, the whole personnel piece of it would have to be entered in. What else are we thinking?
So I'm trying to
I don't know.
think,
I
going
just,
back.
you know, I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here thinking in terms of doing a presentation to a board of directors, and I'm going, okay, so what am I selling?
Right. So
well,
what kind
like on my section, I threw in there stuff about like animal therapy to help with the stress, and so you probably throw something like that in there. I think animal therapy.
I mean, pet therapy and music therapy, all of that. I think I found some prices, not necessarily for our region, when we did the therapeutics table, that we could throw in. But again, that stuff is usually covered through insurance, or is that something that's sustainable?
Well, some stuff,
this?
like
Well, if
when
we're
I was
talking-
doing my table, massage wasn't covered in for insurance purposes.
Right.
So I wanted massage in.
Well, would we need anything?
You can do an awful lot of massages for $250,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, or if we're planning on saying that we're going to build like an outpatient stroke center already, you know, using area in the existing facility, that gives us a little bit more to go with. But, I mean, are they wanting us to throw in equipment and everything else? Because, I mean, if that's the case, then, and how many people are we going to have spots for at a time and all those things? What is going to be our number, our maximum number of patients we can take at one time?
Right, and then special training for nurses. Yeah.
So, I mean, if we do 10, you know, do we need beds? Do we need mats in case they fall? Do we need, like I said, the tool thing I think we have to purchase, and I think that was like $2,700 to, you know, to buy the copyright to be able to use it. That's just kind of my
Can
thought.
I offer up a suggestion?
Of course.
I believe, at least for the purposes of my education, you know, I'm kind of a KISS person, keep it simple. Have we thought about the idea of being able to identify a capital device or expenditure that we could do for stroke that would spend close to the limit of the money we have, utilize the skills of existing people? I'm thinking, like, you know, when we were doing the therapeutics table, I did a lot of research on embolectomy. What if we bought the tool to add to our existing cardiac cap endovascular equipment that would allow us to do embolectomy? And since we get to make up so many things, we already have existing radiologists in our facility who have the skill set to use this tool. There's all kinds of research out there on it, and boom, you've got one thing that you spend money on. You don't have to worry about salaries for all kinds of people. You don't have to worry about supplies other than the actual device itself and the cannula, which was like $1,400, you know, an episode that you use it. And we'd have something that we could offer stroke patients that we don't have right now. We could get a paper out of it, and we wouldn't have to worry about all these little minutiae of what do we pay the therapist and what do we pay for the dog food for the therapy dog. And I mean, it's just an idea.
So with that, how much of a change would we have to make on the existing paper we already have? What would we focus that
From what
on?
I've seen that we have out there, from what I've seen that we have out there already, there's not that much except the part about care coordination, and we could talk about the care coordination being part of something that we do existing with our stroke anyhow. This is just offering an additional, I don't know. I'm looking for ways to try and make, to simplify for us, because I just feel like if we're doing this big global stroke program, we're going to run out of time, room, and space in 25 pages.
Right.
Wow.
You know, when you look at the technology, like that, whatever it was, the exosuit, that was like $140,000. Or there's the 3D computer imaging type programs that they're using for rehabilitation. I mean, if you're looking for more big budget items, that falls into that too, depending upon if we want to go stay with the post-hospital rehab versus something that's still within the hospital setting.
Yeah,
Either
that's
is
actually
fine with me.
I was just looking at that right now. I was looking at if it actually defines what our group is, and since it says post-stroke care, I don't know that we could use that, since that's something that's going to happen immediately on the onset of the stroke and not so much after the fact.
And maybe it's a matter of semantics. I define post-stroke care as anything that happens from the time you hit the door and it's identified that you had a stroke.
Well, I think when we maybe talk with her on Sunday, maybe we can get better clarification on that too. I mean,
I think this has to be turned in before then.
that's true. It does.
Because our draft 2 has to be done before and that's the plan for financing.
Before the next meeting.
So here's the thing, though.
I like to know what we're selling so I know what to budget.
Right.
So the client eligibility, the way I did the client eligibility was based off of people that had already suffered from a stroke, were in the immediate post-stroke period, not still undergoing immediate treatment or acute treatment. So I kind of want to lean more towards a lane and maybe look at things that we could use if we want to do one ticket item. Things that we could use as a rehab tool instead of a treatment option.
Okay.
So you're looking at acute rehab, which is great because that does.
Right, because when I read it as stroke survivors. To me, stroke survivors aren't. Yeah. I mean, coming with a neuro background, to me, you don't survive until your 72 hours is over and you've reached the end of your brain swelling time. You know, so that's how I look at it.
I'm just seeing if I can find some of these real quick and maybe a little bit of the price. Because I know that there's these 3D programs. That one was in the United States with this 3D computerized system. But I didn't see a price on that. Interesting.
And I mean, anything else, you know, this is a draft. I mean,
right.
The whole purpose of the mentoring sessions, I know she wants us to have things that she can look at, but if we have a starting point and say, you know, this is where we were going, do we have to have the entire budget templated out, or can we say, you know, what are your thoughts on this? We kind of needed some guidance.
So right. Kind of funny, but go ahead.
Oh, I was looking for this article that I had just read too about rehab interventions. I was trying to see if there was anything major in here.
There's a hospital in Phoenix, Arizona that is part of this Exo Bionics, which I think is kind of funny. actually, some of this is 3D technology from film industry for rehabilitation.
Melissa, you're being quiet. It's very unlike you.
I know. I'm just looking stuff up.
Are you?
Yeah, me too.
Well, I guess if we know that we want to go that way, maybe we can all try and search for some financial avenues of that. I do know that one suit was $140,000 because they were saying, well, maybe once the military uses it and blah, 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 it'll come down in price. But I don't know about these other programs.
And I mean, it's just an idea. We can certainly go, you know, all kinds of directions with this. I'm just trying to figure out a way that keeps it as simplistic as possible, because it makes life easier, you know, when you try and put all these pieces together.
I like simple. We're kind of a KISS group too here.
Yeah, agree. That's why mine was so short. I kept mine very much to the point.
And I do promise that mine can be cut down, and that was like my first draft. I'm like, man, this is wordy, but I know that I can redo it and bring it down.
I'm sure she'll
mention that because she commented on how long some of the bibliographies were for all of us, and I thought, oh my gosh, and I tried really hard to keep mine to one page. I thought if we can keep, you know, certain things down, maybe we can have less editing later, but I was actually thinking about the end of it, thinking, oh my gosh, if this ends up being like some 50-page paper, it's going to take us longer to cut it down than it did to write it.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
You know how hard that is? You have to make sure it still makes sense. You can't cut out the good stuff, but...
Well, they've made sure, like, everything that comes out of your mouth has to have a reference. So it's like...
Yeah, I think if we said that we want compassionate nurses, we'd have to provide a reference that says why nurses should be compassionate.
Exactly.
Right.
No kidding.
So I said I think we could rebuild a forest with probably the majority of the articles and stuff that we've all printed out and highlighted. And
yeah, because I'm going to say I'm an old dog, and I have to have a printed copy.
Oh, I'm the same way. I want to read it and highlight it, and
it's a lot easier to flip through the pages.
Yeah.
All right, so clearly this is going to take us a little bit of time to find these technologies with kind of pricing.
So do we want to maybe, has everybody read our parts that we've submitted? Melissa, I think yours.
Yeah, actually, I read the whole thing because I was trying to figure out what we were buying so that I could go out and start, you know, looking at capital costs and so on.
Right.
We didn't give you enough info, did we? We were too vague.
That's because none of us knew what we were doing.
Exactly. We had the general idea. We were waiting for you to jump in and just make something up, Georgia.
Work your magic.
Oh, okay.
Pull something out of a hat and
I can
work
magic. I mean, I can make all kinds of things up. I was just having a hard time understanding what exactly we were doing, because once I know what we're doing, it's easy to make up the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I was seeing what I was seeing so far was I was seeing what do I want to say? I was seeing basically quality care that you would give anywhere that would be part of your general nursing care.
Right.
I didn't see a whole lot of capital. I didn't see a whole lot of capital in the technology unless we thought about buying Wii's for everybody.
Well, you know, the our speech therapist at the hospital recently bought an iPad for our vented patients who can actually use touchscreen, and it's an application on it that will say the word after they type it. So with it being such a a sensitive touch screen, it works really well. It's pretty cool. So I mean, if that's what we're thinking of, especially for patients that are maybe aphasic or things like that, you could buy the iPads and have the apps loaded that have the pictures on it that will talk for them.
I think I just saw it today. I've looked at so many things I don't remember what it was, but I might have been on one of the ANA pages about the downloadable aphasia apps. I think it was the ANA that gives a listing of all the apps that you can use for anybody that has any type of aphasic problem. So I just found an article that says innovative virtual reality technology revolutionizes stroke therapy.
Oh.
And it's very cool, it's very modernistic. They got the whole thing set up with the claw hands and the wires and the goggles and everything. But I don't know if I don't know if we'd have to come up with a price.
Has anybody seen this? Has anybody seen this TheraSuit?
Uh-uh.
I did not see this when I did my therapeutics, but I didn't know if anybody had seen the TheraSuit. Evidently, there's a lot of centers using the TheraSuit.
Huh. For CP.
Huh.
Are they using it for stroke? I mean, I'm seeing it for cerebral palsy.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing it for too.
Yeah, I came up on it on a stroke center.
Oh. Neurological disorders such as CP or traumatic brain injuries. Does not, oh, that's the therapy place. We do offer $1,000 scholarship. Huh. Let me see if I do TheraSuit for stroke.
Well, the manufacturer's indications are cerebral palsy, developmental delays, traumatic brain injury, post-stroke CVA.
Yeah.
So one of our residents when I worked in neuro, his name is Dr. Eric Luthart, who works at WashU at Barnes. He came up with something. I just got on his website. It's called he's the head of the Center for Innovation in Neuroscience and Technology, but he developed something. It's like a neuroprosthetic that links to the brain and allows for movement for like patients that are paralyzed and other things. I don't know if they're doing anything or not. Apparently he's had.
Sorry.
What's that?
I was just going to say, I didn't mean to interrupt. There's always such a lag. The TheraSuit for 5 days is $1,900. TheraSuit 2 days cost per participant $850.
So it has a revenue stream. If that's what you can bill for it, it has a revenue stream.
Right. And what about, in things that I had already put, if we do something that's kind of exotic and do others, like you say, like some kind of tablet, or even, the Wii, they were talking about how the Wii was such a great exercise program because the family gets involved and the patients are really into it. Wiis are really inexpensive now. I mean, if you want something that's a little bigger and something that maybe you can purchase more of, you could kind of do both ends.
Did you guys see anything on biofeedback in your search results at all? That's something else we could
I think
do.
the one computer program that I had listed was based on biofeedback.
Okay.
It's that, or I did it in a paper. You know, it all runs together now.
Everything's running together.
Ugh. Yeah, so that whole exosuit right now is for the military.
Okay, now here's one. Let's try Biodex.
Well, here's a bunch of I found on that TheraSuit. Did you guys see all that? It's where it's 5-day course for therapists, costs $1,900.
Yeah, it's
training,
$1,900 for 5 days or something.
Yeah, 5-day training, on-site training available. Cost of the suit depends on the size. Universal exercise unit that goes with it. Extra bungee cords. There's a whole list here.
So what are we thinking? Do we want to Are we okay with what everybody else has written so far? I know, Georgia, you said you read them all. Has everybody else read them all?
Yes. I didn't see anything that I would want to change or add, because, again, I don't think any of us really knew what our final goal was, but I think they all looked fine.
Okay.
So do we wish to, like when we're looking at these things, you've got these computerized biofeedback, the virtual 3D, are these things that are supposed to be able to be done in the home? Because I know that there's one computer biofeedback that it's just there, it's on their computer, so they would have to have a computer. That's where you get into the area of these elderly people. A lot of them are not hooked into computers or the internet. So then do you have the different programs, like a computerized program for those who are savvy enough to use it, and then something else that maybe somebody has to come in and help them with, like some of these TheraSuits or something. That patient age is going to be tricky in what we choose.
What website were you on? Did you look at BioNest? Is that where you were?
Me?
Who was talking? Did somebody look at BioNest earlier, the company?
I was looking at Biodex, DEX.
BioNest, BIONESS Inc. Bionest.com. They actually have systems that are like electronic systems for things like foot drop and wireless hand. What is this called? A wireless regain natural hand function with wireless freedom. It's like a wireless hand rehabilitation system. Excuse me.
Bless
Thank you.
So, I mean, that looks like it would be pretty simple for people to use.
But I mean, that is something that we could start here, you know, and maybe have a couple of these hand rehab, you know, items for the occupational therapist, some of the leg, the L300 plus for thigh weakness that helps with mobility. This is just a pretty cool website if you wanted to kind of glance through, but just things like that to kind of think outside the box of how we would get people back up and mobile.
I was looking at their music glove for regaining small motor control. That looked pretty neat.
So I guess part of this is there's lots of this stuff on here, but is there any evidence to support that it really works? That we would want to say that we want this as part of our program?
It was featured in an article, and I'm trying to find it because that's how I found the website.
Okay.
Let me go back up here.
What was? Shoot.
It was from 2011, it looks like. If it ever decides it would like to open. The Journal of Neurology. Can't even talk tonight.
Dang it.
Here's
Yeah, here,
another.
I can save this article if you guys want to look at it. I'll just send it to you.
Here's another article from the Scientific World Journal on those too.
Yeah. I just opened up the one on that music glove.
Yeah.
And there's a whole randomized clinical trial behind it, and then in the references for the randomized clinical trial behind it, there are current articles about the virtual reality for sensorimotor rehab, and I mean, there's a bunch of other articles that also support, you know, the function. I mean, I think most anybody, if they're doing it in practice now, is doing evidence-based practice, so there should be stuff to support whatever they're putting out there.
Right.
Right.
So maybe we want to try and pick a few things. You know, you've got something that would help with, you know, this fine motor, something that's got maybe some biofeedback. I'm looking again at the article that I had found for that computer program. The other things that were nice about it was these older people. It's kind of like you do with your kids, you know, and you've got smiley faces, you've got awards, all this kind of stuff, and all these people said it was really great to do these exercises and then get like a gold star. I mean, as silly as it sounds, it was really important to them as they were progressing.
Right.
And they were able to put these ankle things on by themselves. So maybe if we did, you know, a few different things, speech, something with walking, biofeedback, like this glove type thing. Again, the problem is they don't really give you any prices of this stuff. It'd be a lot of digging to find out. And for mine, people have to have a computer and know how to use it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
but I mean, it's something that you can start in the hospital. You know, so we could have computers in the hospital, and then
well, and the prices aren't really that big a challenge. I can tell you, anytime I want a list price on a piece of capital equipment, it takes me 2 minutes on the phone talking to a sales rep, and they'll give me the list price. Now, granted, if I'm actually going to buy it, I start hammering them down to get the price down. But I mean, if
Right.
we wanted to get a list price of something, and then we could propose that this is the list price, and we're hoping to get a 15% discount based upon the purchasing power of DRHA or something, yeah.
Right. Okay. So what sounds good to you guys?
I think the program that everybody's putting together will make a really nice paper. I think if we put the piece of capital equipment in there, then we have something to quantify. Because I think that we pay physical therapists, we pay PTAs, we pay nurses. You know, they're all part of DRHA's regular staff doing post-stroke care. I think what we're looking for is we're looking for something that we're spending this money on that's new and unique.
Right. I would agree with that. Because that's what we got to catch their eye with, something that's different and innovative.
Yeah, that's true. We lose Sarah? Looks like we lost Sarah.
Oh.
We couldn't have lost her too bad because we're still broadcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sent the article, so maybe she just swapped. So maybe something like that TheraSuit, right? That's kind of a bigger, I don't know if it's more innovative.
Yeah, that's a
not.
single big ticket item.
Right.
Yeah.
And then things from the BioNest site, if there's a lot there to choose from. I mean, I think you can still, we've got the ideas, anybody can do the Wii, they get their virtual reality, they can get the movement there, but something that's a little more is like that, you know, the glove. I didn't see it. I was looking at something else, and the TheraSuit. I didn't look at that neuroprosthetic.
But we could talk about the great care coordination program that we have, and now we want to add to our arsenal of post-stroke care some more modern devices that have been proven to be beneficial in terms of electromotor stimulation.
Mm-hmm. I like that. So, yeah.
So I could probably go back and add into my section, you know, all this stuff that you guys are gathering, the TheraSuit, the BioNest stuff.
Do we want to put it in your section or in the technology?
Well, because I've got description of the care delivery environment, so I don't know, maybe it would be technology too.
Well,
I mean,
I
it
think
wouldn't.
it's both places.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I was thinking the same, because if we don't list it in both areas, then it looks like we're not on the same page, but then you don't want to repeat yourself either.
All right.
No, but I think we talk about the technology in terms of what the technology does in the technology section. And I think in the care section, we talk about how do our care professionals who are already performing post-stroke care utilize the technology to improve outcomes for our patients.
Right.
Yep, I like that. I can.
And then we don't really have to worry about the salary piece. When we're building a budget, we don't worry about the salary piece because these people were already there, hired to do stroke rehab. What we're talking about is we're talking about adding this capital equipment.
Right.
And then we talk about return on investment, that, you know, if our outcomes improve and we get people back functional quicker, then we're saving money on the expense line. We're generating, you know, revenue from billing for the therapy, because it looks like all this stuff has billing codes. All of it has CPT codes. And, you know, I can look up the CPT codes and see what Medicare allowables are available with those.
Okay. Great. So we'll do TheraSuit and BioNest, correct?
Yeah. And then on the BioNest, which ones are we looking at, though? I mean,
good question.
There's so much.
There's BioNest.
Well, I like the hand one.
So I'm just on a
The
basic
music club?
What's it called?
The H200 wireless
The
for
one I saw was, yeah, there was one I saw called a music glove that had some really good research behind it.
Music glove.
Do you have the link to that site handy?
Because the only ones it says the L300 for foot drop, L300 plus for thigh, hand, vector gate and safety system. Oh, maybe it's the wireless for hand.
Yeah, I see all those too.
Yeah, that one, and this one, it doesn't say anything about music glove.
Let's see where I found the music glove. It just sort of popped up when I was looking at rehab stuff. So.
All right, let me go to music glove. Music glove hand therapy. Music gloves at Amazon. Yeah, look at that music glove, hand rehabilitation device, and it's on Amazon. Ooh, so was the music glove that you saw? This is $1,099 plus $449 shipping.
Yeah. There we go.
That's funny. It is on stinking Amazon.
You can find anything on Amazon.
I'm telling you.
Kind of like eBay.
You save $300.
Are you an eBay person, Sarah?
Oh no. Not at all.
Based on research funded by the NIH.
Sorry, ladies, I have to eat.
That's fine. So you guys, I'm switching topics here. Sunday was 4 o'clock Central?
Yes.
Okay. We changed time here. Saturday night into Sunday, so. And hopefully we're okay right now. I'm hoping it'll stay that way for the weekend, that I can at least swing in. Restore hand function.
I'm sending everybody the research for the for the glove.
Okay. I mean, it comes with its own 10-inch tablet computer with free headphones. I mean, I think it's a worthwhile for those who have strength and problems in their hand. Music glove. $1,099. I mean, I think it's good to have a variety because everybody's not the same.
I think so too.
So
and
music,
maybe that could be our other theme, maybe, that we provide, cutting edge technologies and fun, exciting ways to help with rehab.
Yeah. So Music Glove, BioNest, TheraSuit. I mean, those would be probably more the big ticket items because all the other technology that we talked about is available and it's very cheap. It's not big ticket items, but they're available for those patients. So I think those are three nice, because they cover. The only thing we don't have anything in here is for aphasia. Was there anything else big, or was it all just kind of the apps and the programs?
I think it was the iPads and the apps and.
Okay. So we can just list, like I listed, there's apps for all these other things. I can just toss in there. There's, for the ANA, there's apps for aphasia that we can make sure they have access to. Okay.
Well, and the music glove, it looks like they're using it lots of places in actual rehab centers, but the patients can also buy their own and take it home with them if they want.
Yeah, and that's a nice touch too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm chatting with Music Glove. I'm asking him if it's covered by insurance.
There you go.
Guitar Hero style video game helps stroke victims recover. You gotta love all this stuff.
If you like video games, I guess.
I was gonna say my children ought to be well rehabbed.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden the chat person doesn't want to talk to me, so I'm thinking maybe there's an issue with it being covered by insurance.
Hard to say. Okay.
Here, I'll ask too.
I just think it's funny because I go on the website, they open a chat and say, can we answer any questions for you? So I said, is this covered by insurance? And they disappeared.
Sounds about right.
But I think there's some of those big ticket items that are used by the therapist as part of the therapy session would be billable under the rehab.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there. Sounds like maybe they came back.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, insurance does not cover rehabilitation technologies. We are working on this, and in the meantime, we are doing what we can to keep our products affordable.
That's the exact same comment I got.
All right.
They do offer a 15-day risk-free trial to make sure that you know what the device does before making the financial decision.
There you go.
Hmm. I was looking to see if there was anything else that I could find, but
I think those are probably good starts right there.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
At least we'll have something in that Georgia can kind of pull around financially, and then we have a better direction for the project. And then we'll see whatever she has to say on Sunday.
Yeah, and I do think, you know, if we have a technology in mind as to how we're going to spend, I mean, we don't have to spend the whole $250,000, but if we have a technology in mind, because I think so much of what we were putting out there is just utilizing things that any good hospital would have for their stroke patients anyhow, like coordinated care and physical rehab and, you know.
Mm-hmm. I like this.
Boy, Lewis really wants to sell this to me now.
No, I cut her
He's
off.
got me down. He's got me down. He'll let me have it for $59 a month.
Hey, well, there's a good cost point for you for your budget.
Yeah. Well, that does make it a little easier when you have things that you know what they cost. And
Right.
And it would give us some good information for the paper to talk about the fact that technologies improve outcomes, but yet technologies are not covered by insurance. And so we're proposing buying the technologies for our center so that patients can use them in our center.
Right.
Right.
That's good.
Well, I can start plugging away with some of these numbers. You know, if you have some favorites, if you want to just either put it in the discussion board or put it in an email and tell me what your favorites are, I can go start getting quotes and trying to pull some budget information together then.
Okay.
And then we can use the quality of care information to actually round out the program.
That'll work.
Okay.
Is that going to give you
That way nobody's research has gone for naught.
Right. And is that going to give you enough stuff to throw something together for Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Because this gets turned in
I'll put
tomorrow.
together a fiduciary section.
I think I have to turn it in by Friday morning, right? Because she has to have 2 days. I would prefer to have it into her by tomorrow evening if you
I
could.
think it's 3 days.
Is it 3? I'm thinking 2. You're probably right. I think I'm on nursery redesignation brain death right now, so.
Well, I think I'm really good with if you guys are comfortable with adding the technologies to it, I think I can work a budget now.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I would. Go ahead.
So, Elaine, are you going to redo part of your piece then?
Yes, but I'm
Okay.
going to add the Music Glove, the TheraSuit, and the BioNest because I think those are nice, innovative, new technologies. And the aphasia apps. I'll just mention it.
And I'll have to throw that somewhere, I think, in my description of the care. I'd have to throw it into
And then
description
what I'll
of
do,
care delivery environment, I think. I'll have to throw something in there on those, I believe.
Okay.
Unless you guys think that's too
and then,
two different spots. I don't know.
no.
Well, I think like
No,
Georgia
because-
said, if I put in that the technology exists and how it works, and then Melissa's gonna put in how it gets incorporated with the patients. I don't know. It sounded good when Georgia said it.
And then I'll come back with, if I come back with the narrative, what I'll put in the narrative in looking at the financials, this technology which has evidence base behind it that it does improve outcomes, however, is not yet covered by Medicare or most insurances. So in order to improve outcomes for our patients, we are proposing that DHRA purchase the technology, utilize it in our existing outpatient rehab center so that patients have access to it without having to pay for it.
Yeah. That's a good angle. I like that.
Yep, I like that.
So I'll get that done tonight, Sarah, and get you the updated part of mine.
Yeah, I think I'm going to maybe throw something else into the eligibility section too, so that it can wrap around with rehab potential and
then also on that new draft, did you put my changes on the target population that I put in Google Hangout? I threw it in the color blue in there. I don't know if you saw those.
No, I have not been back on there. I got Elaine's that she posted and I updated the bios, but I didn't see yours, so I'll pull that off.
Okay.
And it is 3 days. I just found the sheet.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, so we'll need it by tomorrow night.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll probably work.
I've got time tomorrow. I've got time tomorrow at work, so I can actually work on the budget piece. I'm emailing it to my office right now, and I can work on the budget piece and pulling numbers and quotes together while I'm at work tomorrow. Just don't tell my boss.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know that I'll do it tonight.
Next thing she'll know, she'll go, what are you using these gloves for? Are these gloves for our cancer patients?
They could be.
Right. So what's a good time tomorrow? We think we can all have it done by, do we want to set a time frame?
Anytime's good. I'm off tomorrow, so I can work on it. I'll probably start working on a little tonight.
I'll probably do it first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Georgia,
I've got a meeting from 8. I've got a meeting from 8 to 10, so I'm going to try and get as much as I can done tonight, and then I'll round it out and try and have it up by 3 tomorrow afternoon. How's that?
Okay. Perfect.
Sounds good.
All right, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else we need to talk about, or are we good?
I think I'm good.
I think we're good.
All right. See you guys
Have a
Sunday.
good
Sarah,
night.
you look like you're done. I think we need to put a fork in Sarah. She's done.
Yeah,
Our
she's done.
nursery designation is next month, and I am scrambling to try to find information from physicians, which is kind of like pulling teeth. So I'm exhausted, and I had a staff today, so it's been a long day.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
All right. See you guys.
See you
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Night, everybody.